Welcome to Glasgow. Hi, Solo Anis here for another new video. Today I'm in Glasgow to find out if you should live in Glasgow or not. I'm going to ask a couple of questions to a few people who have been living here for a while. Questions such as living costs, working, studying, pros and cons of living in Glasgow, how are people, and so much more. If you're interested in finding out if this city is suitable for you, if it's what you're looking for, then stick to this video. Glasgow. Nice. Cute. The fuck is this? Ugly. The subway in Glasgow is so easy. It goes in circle. London subway is more complicated. Anyway, I took the subway to visit some places such as Kelvin Grove Art Gallery and Museum, its surroundings under the rain, I have a turmeric latte, a bagel with salmon and cheese. My sister got a toast and pistachio coffee. Expensive. All this was £15 in total. Never again. If you're hungry and you want some authentic Italian Napolitan pizza, I highly recommend Paesano Pizza. I would rate 9 out of 10. It was really good. I also went to Hill's dance class at Dance Glasgow and it was so good. I came back home to show my sister what I've learned and how poorly I dance compared to other girls. I'm taking you all to Botanic Garden here in Glasgow. Let's go. Free entrance. Pesce rosso. Oh, che carino. Follow me. Okay, basta. For my very informal, friendly interview, I asked questions to Giulia, Valentina, and Fabio. You've probably met Giulia in one of my past videos. I interviewed her in one of my videos in Edinburgh. She's here.
Hello.
How long have you been living in Glasgow?
I've lived in Glasgow since 2021.
Lived most of the time that I've been in Scotland, I've lived in Glasgow, but I was a year and a half more or less in Edinburgh.
Glasgow 7 years now. I love Glasgow. I don't like the weather.
Give me 3 differences between Edinburgh and Glasgow.
3 key differences in my experience is that Glasgow is a lot more maybe livable and approachable, like people-wise. It's a lot friendlier. It's a lot more rainy. It's a lot more rain. So that's 2. It's more maybe diverse culturally, and it's got more like queer spaces and more immigrant friendly.
I think that Edinburgh is a very nice city, has a lot of very interesting touristic attractions, but it lacks something for the community. People from Glasgow are a bit more real, maybe. They're just as they are. They're very friendly. You probably just go around in the city center and somebody will start talking to you. They are much more open to communication. So it feels a bit more sociable, and you feel like you are part of a community.
What do you do for a living? How much do you spend per month? Or like, what's your living expense situation? How much do you pay on rent, grocery shopping, and other expenses?
Yeah, I teach at the University of Strathclyde, which is based in the city center. I teach a master in forensic science. I don't rent anymore because a couple of years ago I managed to buy my first flat. But in terms of expenses, I spend around £600 a month. For food, £30 a week. For transportation, move around in the city, I go by bike. It rains a bit, but you get used to it. I drive, commute to work, and so that I usually have to put maybe £40 every couple of weeks.
So I'm a marketing executive at the DRG. It's a hospitality company. Have a look and check online DRG. So in our case it's different because we actually own a flat and the mortgage is not bad. So the mortgage is like around £600 a month. And for now we are lucky because obviously we need to remortgage next year. So next year you come back, you ask me again the same question. It's going to be much higher. Even though like I'm not working full time because of my baby, the nursery fee are very high. We pay £55 a day, regardless of if my baby goes or not. But I won't say it's one of the most expensive cities in UK at all. So it's right, like with even the minimum wage, you can survive fine.
So I work as a designer and as a digital learning officer for Children's Parliament. And then the second question was, how much do I spend on rent? So my rent individually is 417, but I live with my partner, so we split it equally. So it's 417 per person. And then I'd say our expenses for a week, I don't know, maybe like £100 with everything. We have a cat as well, so it's costing. And monthly as well, council tax is about £90 per person. Bills wise can go from £40 to like £100. Yes.
Something you dislike about Glasgow?
This was not hard to think about. It's the transport. I've never experienced such bad transport, and this is including Rome. It's so bad. So bad. It's so expensive. It's more expensive than London, which makes no sense. It's unreliable. The buses don't work. They never arrive. The subway, we just got a new subway, like fresh out of the factory, and it still breaks down. So it actually ends up being quite expensive sometimes, like getting to places, because you either have to like make up for time by walking there, and like it's a big city, so you can walk for like hours, or by just having to get like a taxi, because you can't actually rely on public transport.
I'm actually very surprised because I thought public transport is really good, because you can go to Oban, get the ferry and go to any Scottish island. You can also get the plane from Glasgow Airport, Edinburgh Airport, and go abroad anywhere you like if you get bored of Glasgow.
I mean, the options are there. Like, there is the option to like, oh, you can take this, this, and this, but the issue is that it doesn't work. So it kind of creates that illusion of like transport existing, but the reality of every day is you always have to like make up time to get there. Like, I get stuck on the subway all the time and I end up missing trains. So the things are there, they just don't work.
What job opportunities are there here in Glasgow?
I think like hospitality wise, you will find always a job here, and NHS, like because there is a massive lack of doctors and nurses, but IT also like you can find. So I think there are lots of opportunities. There are like a few big companies always looking for people, so job won't be like a problem.
Any other disadvantage?
It has gotten quite expensive because of like cost of living crisis. It used to be cheap and affordable for low-income families, and people are actually not anymore. We live in like a climate where we have like a lot of rain and a lot of cold, so like mold is a really big problem, and even if you pay a really good for a really good flat, you still get mold. So I don't feel like you really get good value for money for what you pay.
How are people here in Glasgow?
I'd say people are really, really nice. It's a lot more like a diverse city, so it's got loads of like immigrants, which is really lovely. So it's a very culturally rich place, and it's very much like community based. There's any type of like community group that you can think of, and society, and just space that will welcome you regardless of like your gender, your ethnicity, your sexual orientation, or your immigration status. It's a very welcoming city.
Can you give me some pros and cons of living in Glasgow?
Pros wise, you are very close to the Edinburgh airport, so there are cheap flights, and if you are from here, the university is free, so that's a massive help, especially, you know, talking about the future, if you have kids and everything. So that one, like, you know, that's why it's hard to go back to Italy, because there are so many other pros here, especially for the family, kids, and opportunities in general. People make Glasgow, it's true, it's amazing. People are very friendly, everybody is like there to help you if you need anything. And I like the community also, like I feel like home. I don't really have like a negative, apart from the weather again, so there are no negatives.
3 pros of living in Glasgow. Very good place where to live in the UK. It has a good sense of community. Myself and a lot of friends of mine, we tend to feel immediately at home over here. It is full of events and cultural events, so you can go to the theatre. There are a lot of concerts and festivals all around the year. It is a big city, so you have everything that comes with a big city, but it's also very, very close to nature, so you can go to the Highland 1 hour tops, and you are in the middle of nowhere and you can just explore. Another pro, the cost of life is really decent. It's a city that gives you a lot of opportunity, and so it's a very good place where you can develop a good career. For cons, the weather is not excellent. It is not as bad as everybody think. So we don't tend to have snow, for example. It never goes very hot, it never goes very cold, so it's always quite mild. We are in the west, in Glasgow, and this means that it's a little bit more rainy than in Edinburgh. Another con, it could probably be better connected to other places around in Europe. There is Glasgow airport, but it doesn't have a huge amount of direct flights. Otherwise you have to go to Edinburgh to find better connections. The last con, we don't tend to have a lot of fresh food in terms of veggies and fruit.
You attended Glasgow School of Art, right? How was it?
It was good. I definitely learned a lot because of the people that I got to meet, and I also think gave me the tools to get to where I am today. I did a master's in design, innovation and citizenship.
Do you recommend people to live in Glasgow?
I mean, I can't speak for like everyone. I think people is very general, and it might be that for some people it's not great. Like I probably wouldn't recommend it for people with disability, like mobility issues. It's not very accessible city.
Yeah, definitely. I would recommend Glasgow. I think it's one of the best places where to be. Definitely in Scotland, although I know that Edinburgh can be a little bit nicer to the eye. I would definitely recommend Glasgow.
Yes, always yes, that's the answer, yes. Scotland is a beautiful country, and especially if you want to go like even like half an hour away, there are castles to see and loch and lakes. It's beautiful. It's just like you need to be prepared to have the sun inside you, because outside you will never see it.
What places do you recommend people to live in Glasgow?
The best places, I'd say, I mean, south side of Glasgow is really nice. It's got its own community, which is lovely. There's loads going on. The West End is quite nice, and the Northwest is good. East End is also good. I mean, the only places I wouldn't recommend living in really are city centre and the very north of Glasgow.
If you have a lot of money, the West End, and it's very young as well. Particularly if you go to Glasgow University, a lot of students tend to live near Glasgow University, so in the West End. If you are a little bit more on a budget, definitely the city centre, it's a good option. The south side and the East End where I live, which is a bit more residential. I would definitely avoid the north and the far east.
Where next? Are you thinking to stay in Glasgow forever or moving somewhere else?
I definitely feel at home in Glasgow. So if I were to stay here longer, like I wouldn't mind. I'd be happy. But I think Maybe it's just the nature of who I am. I think I would like to maybe go somewhere else, maybe outside of the UK. But I think I would definitely always consider Glasgow an option to come back to.
I think Glasgow is an okay city. I prefer Edinburgh so much more, aesthetically speaking, but the advantage of living in Glasgow is that you can always take the train, an hour train, and visit Edinburgh whenever you want for so cheap. Another advantage of living in Glasgow is that you can take the plane from Glasgow Airport, but also from Edinburgh Airport, and travel anywhere you like. Another advantage of living in Glasgow is that you can take the train to Oban, which is the gateway to some Scottish islands, and you can have a break from the corporate job, have a break from the city, chaotic, busy life, but also you can always have a seasonal job, save up some money, learn new skills, and have opportunities in the hospitality industry, which I think is really, really good, and meet new people, travel, explore the islands. You can take the train and go to the north, south, wherever you want. And that's the main thing I like about Glasgow, is that when you get bored here in the city, you can always go anywhere you like, elsewhere abroad, but also around Scotland. So it's the public transport, the links in Glasgow, outside and around, that I really, really like. But aesthetically speaking, I think the architecture and places are meh. Let me know in the comments below if Glasgow is one of your options for living. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all next time.